We got another one. All right, guys, today we're here at Reef Lounge out here in the beautiful city of Norco, and we got Shane here to walk us through a little bit of the shop, tell us what they got and what they're working on.
How you guys doing? I want to say thank you guys for stopping by. We're really excited to give you guys the tour of our main store here in Norco. We've been here about 4 years, been serving the Southern California area for about 30. We do a lot of aquarium installation, service, maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. And this is kind of our headquarters hub. Started off as kind of a small shop to support that end of the business and just kept growing and growing. And now we have one of the biggest fish stores in the state.
Nice.
So basically the way we have things set up, right when you walk in the front there, we have this whole side of the building is saltwater. That whole side over there is freshwater.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of give you guys a walkthrough and kind of show you guys what we do over here on the saltwater side.
Beautiful.
So we do in-store sales, but we do a lot of online as well.
Okay.
So some of the corals that you guys see here, you can also find on our website at reefloungecoral.com. There's a little bit of crossover inventory, so some of the stuff you see here won't be on the website and vice versa, but we try to keep it as organized as possible.
Nice, nice.
So basically we have all of our fish systems over here, and then we have pretty much our coral flats over here with a few fish mixed in there as well.
Okay.
So this first tank, we kind of try to do like some affordable options for people. We have some 5 for 20 or 5 for 100s, 20 bucks each. 3 for 100s.
Okay.
And you know, we got like some really nice designer Zoa plugs that are overgrown. I'll show you guys a little peek in the back before we finish up. We do a lot of aquaculture and farming here as well. We really specialize in Zoas, so we tend to think that we offer like, you know, the best bang for your buck as far as Zoas as you're gonna find anywhere.
Yeah,
we
that's user friendly.
You know?
Right, okay.
But we are a direct importer as well, so we aquaculture a lot of our own stuff, but we import from all over the world as well. So you'll see, you know, small aquaculture flags, and you'll see giant colonies of wild pieces as well.
Right.
So we have a staging system in the back, 3 different tanks that everything has to go through for quarantine and inspection before it actually makes it out here onto the floor. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But yeah, so this main coral flat here is just all different kinds of stuff, a lot of LPS, a lot of softies. They start with the cheaper frags and we kind of work our way up. We actually just cleaned this tank this week and we're just starting to fill it again with torches. So by the end of the week, this tank will be all filled with torch.
I might have to come back for that, man. These look amazing. Where do you guys import from?
Like I said, man, all over the world. A lot of these torches here are going to be Indo torches, but Malaysia, anywhere that has nice coral, we're trying to get it.
Okay.
We do kind of like to specialize in torch. We always offer a buy 3, get 1 free. Started off just doing it on the website and people really like it. We offer it now in store, meaning if you buy 3 torches, you get a 4th one at equal or lesser value. So for the guys that are trying to get the little noodle gardens going, it definitely is nice to save a little bit here and there.
For the beginners, the intermediate experience, everybody loves Zoas,
and
man. They're real friendly.
Even with the torches, we've got everything from $50 torches all the way up to the crazy holy grails and stuff. So
okay, nice.
Something for everybody. You know?
Yeah.
Just more colonies, various different stuff here. We got some brains. There's some acanthos in here, some nice bubble coral, mostly large LPS stuff.
Nice.
A few Monty caps and different things in here as well.
Okay.
This tank was basically a rollover of that tank. We just started gutting this one. This is going to be our new acro tank as well.
Okay.
So we're adding a little bit more light, a little bit more flow on here, and then we'll have acro system for up front, because until now we've been keeping all the acro in the back.
Nice.
So that's kind of our coral flats here in the front. This is going to be our main fish system here.
Okay.
So this system is for kind of our bread and butter fish, the less delicate stuff. So this system is treated with copper. These fish are quarantined for 14 days when they come in. But then we also, most of them then go into this system with copper. Some of our more delicate fish that don't do well with different medications, we have to treat them separately in the back.
Right.
And then once they make their way out here, they go into these systems which are not medicated. So you'll see different types of wrasses, amphias, some of your more finicky angels and stuff like that. We tend to put them over here. Kind of weird to see a fish store that does these like big frag tank, like lagoon style tanks for fish, but
Yeah.
we just noticed that we try to specialize a lot in larger fish. You'll find a lot of online retailers that really only sell fish up to a certain size. We try to be able, you know, to ship fish of any size.
Right.
That means that we're going to house them in bigger tanks. We're going to ship in bigger boxes with a lot more water. It's definitely much more expensive for us to do it that way, but ever since we started doing it that way, we've just had much more success with big fish.
Okay.
And anybody who's been doing this for a while can kind of tell you, like, shipping the small bread and butter stuff is easy. Shipping the exotic and the big stuff takes a little bit more care. So that's kind of what we're focused on this part of the store.
Okay. And then when you guys do the quarantining, what do you hit them with? Just the Holy Trinity, all three, or
it's,
you guys focusing on
copper,
what?
A little bit of prosy, depending on, like I said, some fish are more sensitive to medications than others.
Right.
So we have 4 or 5 things that we rotate through. Sometimes it's just like a pure methylene blue,
Okay.
malachite green, or we have different medications that are a combination of 2 or 3 of those.
Okay.
So depending on what the fish, there's certain species we know are kind of susceptible to certain things. So we have
Right.
a protocol for those.
Right.
Other ones that are more delicate, it's kind of like get them, observe them for a week, and kind of see what we need to do.
Okay.
Some fish we just observe for 14 days and there's no treatment.
Nice.
But most of the fish that make it out here on the floor have been medicated in some way.
Okay, now we got the big boy, the showstopper. What we got here, man? Talk to
This
me.
is the Red Sea. I believe this is the 900 XL 900. So this tank's like, I don't know, 220, something like that.
Okay.
Just here against the wall, we kind of just have some displays. You know, these are kind of like working displays. It's funny, we sell everything out of the display. So one thing Jimmy will always tell me, you walk in and you go, "Is that for sale? Is that for sale?" Everything's for sale. But we kind of set things up to make them a little bit more visual appealing than just frag tanks with corals all lined up nicely. You know.
Right.
So, you know, you'll notice if you come to the store regularly, each one of these tanks gets a makeover every few months. This one we just did last week. This used to be all gonnies. Now we've kind of done like a softy, NPS, kind of leather.
I can see everything's pretty established in here. It looks amazing. I love these mushrooms right here, man.
So a lot of the stuff in this one actually came from one of our service accounts. That was a tank that we just took down for somebody moving out of state a couple of weeks ago. So he had a lot of this stuff that was nice and really grown out already. And we're like, rather than frag it up, let's just make a nice display with it. You know?
Yeah.
This is a good example of what I'm talking about. Like this is actually kind of the only display here that we have a lot of grow out stuff. So back in the farm, I'll have some stuff that's on frag plugs. That's the stuff that's for sale. I always tell people anything that's on the flat disc is for grow out. We usually keep them in the middle of the tanks.
Right.
This is kind of a working display because we keep acro colonies and torches and stuff in here, and we'll pull them out periodically and cut frags of them. If somebody walks in and says, "How much is that one?" I'm like, "Well, that's our grow out, but I can cut you a head," type of thing. You know what I mean? So,
Oh man, that's amazing. A lot of people don't do that. Cut on demand.
yeah, and like for the acro and stuff, I usually don't like to like cut and send people home with fresh cuts. But for our regulars and stuff, they'll come in and be like, "Hey, can you cut me a piece?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll cut it." Have them come pick it up in a couple of weeks when it's encrusted. And
Yeah, when it looks like how it looked when you saw it.
yeah, exactly. And you know, certain systems like corals do better in than other ones for some reason. Like for whatever reason, anything we put in here does great. So whenever we get something new in that's like unique, I always tell the guys on the farm, I'm like, frag it up, give me a small piece to put in here. Because anything I put in here just goes crazy. So this is kind of like our backup. Anything that's like, we don't want to lose that. We want to make sure we have that strain.
That's the real money-making tank in here.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
This one is Jimmy's display. Jimmy's our owner. A lot of you guys, if you shop here, you definitely know Jimmy. He's kind of famous around these parts as being the fish guy.
Okay.
But this is kind of like his tank that he's just kind of set up with all his like favorite fish and corals and just big, kind of crazy, overgrown. Let all the corals
this is
grow into each other.
amazing. What gen are these lights up here?
So these ones are going to be, mostly everything in here is Gen 6 blues. These might be G5 actually. There's a couple of these tanks that have G5 and G4 on them.
Okay.
But for what you're gonna see most of the store, and then back on the farm, we're using all the G6 blue. We really like the spread on it. For the acro tanks, we do use the pros because you get a little bit more bang with the more white light in there.
Yeah.
But
larger
most
spectrum.
people have really gone to that like heavy blue, kind of Windexy look.
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard.
a little partial to the pros myself. I like to run white light during the middle of the day so you can really appreciate the fish colors more. I like running blue in the morning and at night. But you know, to each their own.
Yeah, it's a whole headache when it comes to getting rid of algae and everything when you're just running heavy spectrums the whole day long.
Yep.
And you can't really appreciate it. Everybody walks in, you gotta give them some glasses, you know.
The funny thing that cracks me up with the lighting, man, is like there was a point in time where like we were all just kind of guessing. Like I got into this when we were using metal halides and VHOs and all these different types of lights, and everyone was always like, one, nobody knew where to get a par meter.
Yeah.
And a par meter is one of those things that costs $400 or $500. You're probably only going to use it once and never use it again.
Yep.
It used to be tricky to get the lighting figured out. Now all these lighting companies have this all so dialed in that everything's just plug and play out of the box. They all come with an app where you can just plug in AB Plus and you can run what all the best coral growers in the world are growing.
Yep, they even got it. You could download the app and send them a test sample, and they'll send you a bottle of trace elements every month, and you just run through it, and you're the man.
I always tell people, man, there's a lot of people that come in, hey, I did saltwater 10, 15 years ago. How much more expensive is it? How much more difficult is it? There was a time where saltwater was much more difficult than freshwater.
Yeah.
I think over time, especially the last 5 or 10 years, it's kind of balanced out where the equipment has gotten so good, the knowledge has gotten so good, the additives have gotten so good. All the processes have been refined to the point where I'm like, I tell people it's a little bit more upfront cost for saltwater.
Right.
It's a little bit more of a learning curve.
Exactly.
Once the thing's set up, the only additional maintenance is your auto top off, right?
Yep.
Maybe you're dosing, but if you're doing like a crazy planted tank, like some of these guys get more elaborate with the freshwater now than I've seen on some of these saltwater systems.
Man, the CO2s, the timers, everything. It's amazing now what you can do. It's not too far off. Like, you know, Amazon's a big plug. You get anything on Amazon to help you out, and I try and talk all my friends into it. Like, man, it's not too much more. Just off the startup alone, just for your average hobbyist, is what? Like an extra, if you want to go over the top, an extra $150 for the saltwater setup.
I always tell people, man, like they come in and they look at something like that with like a fully, you know, developed display, and they see the hard coral, and they see all the different stuff and mixing fish that maybe you're not supposed to mix or not reef safe. And they're like, how does that work? You know what I mean? I always tell people, man, when you get into this hobby, make sure you get into it for the right reasons, right?
Message.
Like the guys who get into this hobby and stay in it, guys and gals, are the ones who walk in, they get fascinated with it, they buy something that's within their means, they don't go too big to where it's going to be too much work, they don't go too small to where it's going to be too unstable, and then they buy the animals they like.
Message.
Exactly.
Those people stay in the hobby forever. The people that come in and then they fall into the Instagram part of it, and they start seeing all the little $300 nubs and boogers of all these different corals, and then their tank is just frag racks on the walls, and it becomes, I always call those are frag displays, those aren't reef tanks.
Exactly.
And a lot of these Instagram guys are running frag displays, and if you pay attention, those guys are all in and out of the hobby in a year or two.
It's a big difference.
Right? Because
big
they get
difference.
in for the fascination, and then they start seeing price tags with stuff, and then they start thinking about growing, and then it becomes, oh, how do I turn this into a small business instead of just a hobby that you're supposed to enjoy?
Yeah.
Any other hobby we do costs a little bit of money, right?
Exactly.
I don't know many hobbies that are free.
Yeah, tell the people what we got back here. This the behind the scenes, if you will. Not a lot of people get this. This is actually away from the shop behind that little door over there.
Yeah, so like I said, people come in and like, man, this place is huge. I'm like, we got a lot more in the back. So this is basically our farm/quarantine system. First system there is going to be for quarantine. So that first tank is receiving. When new corals come in, they go straight in there.
Okay.
Hang out there for a couple days. We'll let everything open up, observe, determine what treatment processes need to be done next.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and treat those corals, and then they go into the quarantine system. They're going to stay in there for a couple more weeks for observation. If they come in with flatworms, we got to treat for flatworms, but one treatment doesn't get the eggs. So depending on what they come in with, depending on what comes out in our dips, that kind of informs us on what we have to do to get them ready for sale beyond that point, right?
Okay,
so
okay.
once we think everything's clean and good, they go into quarantine B. They will stay in there for another 2 weeks. As long as we don't see anything pop up in quarantine B, then they can either go out onto the floor or into our farm systems.
Nice.
This system here in the middle is mostly just for grow out. This was our main acro system. We're transitioning over to a new system for all the acro right now. It's only about half full.
Okay.
But a lot of this stuff is just like a lot of our aquaculture stuff. A lot of encrusters, ganies, chalices, that kind of stuff. This is a lot of the corals that you'll see online, especially the aquaculture frags. Is going to be stuff from back here.
Right.
This kind of the same thing, overflow. I use this tank for photos for the website. Usually right after I photo a batch of coral for the website, I'll put it on its own tray over there and kind of number everything. So we try to stay organized.
Nice.
So everything in this system is currently on the website. We try not to have a lot of mixing of the coral that's for sale in the store versus the stuff that's already posted for online, because then somebody could buy something out there and I don't remove it from the website in time and somebody... So we've kind of got a nice little system going now for how we're able to sell in-store and online and keep things organized. So.
Okay. And then I got a quick question for you, man. This for all the home hobbyists out there that, you know, they have a flatworm outbreak and they think, oh man, I'll go to my local shop and get a watermelon wrasse and that'll be the end of my problems. What do you got to say for those guys?
So for most things, flatworms included, I'm always going to take a multi-pronged approach, right? So all these systems have 6-line wrasses and mandarins in them. They do a pretty good job of cleaning up the flatworms. We have a strain of peppermint shrimp in here that also devours flatworms. Okay. So usually if I see something come in and I see flatworms on it right away, so we have all that stuff in the quarantine system as well.
Okay.
So like if I see a Pisca and LPS, a torch come in with flatworms or a gunny or something like that, I put it in that system before I even start treating it. The peppermints, all the fish and that stuff start eating it. So oftentimes I'll see something come in, I'll make note of it, I'll go to grab it 3 days later to treat it and I can't find anything on it, or I'll dip it and nothing comes out.
Right.
So like for flatworms, for example, like I said, there's the life cycle. So if I'm treating a system for flatworms, we use flatworm exit, but you got to treat it like 3 or 4 times every week or 10 days so that you're getting all the freshly hatched flatworms before they can reproduce, right?
Right.
So that's the thing with most of these things. Whatever you run into, then the first step is understand the life cycle and then figure out how do you best interrupt that life cycle, right?
That's a big thing for everybody, because everybody, you know, is a little timid when it comes to dipping the corals. Maybe it may be their first time dipping and they get that immediate reaction, that shock, and their heart drops, you know.
So it's funny, man. People come in all the time. They're like, should I dip my coral? Or I'll get questions online. Hey, you guys quarantine. Like, do I still need to dip? I always tell everybody, dip everything, right? Because what you got to lose?
Exactly.
Like, eventually you play Russian roulette one too many times, something's going to happen. You get a fish, you don't quarantine, you might velvet your whole tank. You know what I mean? Flatworms are the least of our worries as far as pests and stuff, like acros that come in with red bugs, and there's nudibranchs of all different kinds. Like there's a lot of stuff that is actually pretty difficult to get rid of sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you like don't have quarantine set up, so you don't have ways to isolate this stuff.
Okay.
So I always tell everybody, man, dip everything. I've bought corals, like you name it, from the biggest names in the game, and you dip them and stuff comes off. Yeah. So no matter how good your quarantine process is, like obviously we're not able to keep every coral for a year and grow it out and next gen the frags before we sell them.
Exactly.
Some stuff, like I said, is a acanthophilia that comes in. Like for me to frag that and grow it out, one, they're never going to look as good as the original. It's going to take years. So for corals like that, we really do need a good quarantine process that gives us confidence and the customer confidence that they're only bringing healthy stuff into their aquarium. That being said, quarantine everything. Dip everything.
Oh my God, it's dead!
Oh yeah, only other thing that we do back here is the fish quarantine. We don't have anything back here right now.
Okay.
Jimmy was just out of country, so we didn't order fish for a couple weeks. But this is just our really basic quarantine fish system back here. When the fish first come in, they go in here. We can isolate all these tanks to do different treatments here. We also do treatments in this tank. Again, same idea, right? The big fish, I'll put them in a tiny little 20 gallon. It's just going to stress them out when they're already stressed from shipping. Yep. Potentially lower immune systems. Give the big fish space. Small fish, you can treat them together.
Okay.
So nice. Very similar thing here. They go into the first system for 3-4 days. Then they go into the actual quarantine system where most of the fish are treated. The fish that are too delicate for medication go in these 2 tanks. That's why we have sand in them for the wrasses and stuff like that.
Okay.
So basically this wall is our fish conditioning wall. This is where the fish stay after they're imported before they become available for sale.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the only other thing that we do back here, I have an invert system over there. It's pretty empty right now. These are all clownfish pairs that I have on our website right now. It's like what you see is what you get pairs. I just put those up yesterday.
Nice.
So yeah, this back here is really for us organizing a lot of what we do online and a lot of the farming aspect of the shop.
Man, these storms are amazing, dude.
Yeah, and the supplier we started buying from recently is able to supply us with like jumbo size, which is nice because then we can put a big one and a small one together. You get that male-female dynamic right away. A lot of people, when you go to buy designer clownfish, you'll notice that like whether it's Sea and Reef, Pro Aquatics, like whatever you name your favorite clownfish breeder, they all kind of sell fish in that like 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches.
Yeah, they don't want to pay for the shipping.
So you find the 2 fish you like and they're the same size and you put them in a tank and they beat the heck out of each other until one figures out it's going to be the female.
Exactly.
We try to get the jumbos and the small, pair them together so they don't fight at all, and then people can buy a pair and know that they may not be switched yet, but you know which one's going to be the male, you know which one's
It's
going to be the
longevity, saving yourself a headache.
female. A little bit of anemone farming. We're even farming Aptasia here for Bergia.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit of
Look
everything.
great.
That system, probably don't need to show you yet, but that's just a brand new acro system that we just got going.
All right, and what is this best kept secret over here,
So
man?
this is my little pet project. I've been breeding dart frogs for about 6 years now. I'm on Dart Frog Nursery on Instagram. I
Okay.
specialize just in Ufaga. So, you know, worked for Jimmy for a couple years and kind of, we would go to coral shows. It's a lot of crossover. A lot of people that are into coral also into this, especially locally.
Right.
So I kept having dudes come up to me at the coral shows who knew me from the frog shows and ask me about frogs. And Jimmy would be like, what's up with this frog stuff? So I kind of told him about it, and he's like, well, shit, I got extra room in the back. Why don't you set up some more tanks? Because I can't fit any more at my house. I got about 50 frogs at home and another 60 or 70 here.
And where are you selling these at?
Mostly on Instagram. So these guys are pretty tough to get a hold of. You can't buy them just like in pet stores or really online. It's just
Right, for obvious
kind of
reasons.
It's a niche hobby, so you kind of got to know breeders and stuff like that. So realistically, I have like wait lists for most of these. So when they're spoken for, usually before they're ready. The idea with expanding here is to be able to finally produce enough to hopefully be able to actually just have some available for sale at all times.
Right. Okay, what's your Instagram so people know where to hit up?
Dart Frog Nursery on Instagram.
Dart Frog
So
Nursery.
these guys are cool. It's really fascinating. Ufaga means egg eater. That's the genus that all these guys are. So basically what they do is the female will lay a clutch of eggs. The male will go and fertilize the clutch of eggs. He'll kind of guard them for about 10 days or so until they turn into tadpoles. Once they turn into tadpole, the tadpole climbs up on the mom's back and she'll go deposit it in a little pool of water around the tank. And then she'll go visit it every single day and deposit an infertile egg in there. That's what they use to grow up until they turn into a tadpole. And they emerge as like a little frog. So these guys range anywhere from like $100 to $1,000. This is a very rare species called Bahia Solano. These guys sell for about $1,000 for adults.
Oh wow, where are they from?
These ones come from Colombia. Those ones over there, the smaller ones, from Panama. But here you can see she deposited a tadpole here in this cup. I'm not sure if you can see in there or not.
Oh yeah.
But this one just got its back leg, so this is about 2 weeks probably from morphing out and just emerging as a little frog.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really, really fascinating to watch the parental behavior of these guys. Cool thing about these two is their average lifespan in the wild is about 2 to 3 years. In captivity, it's about 10 to 15. So it's I like to say it's a very guilt-free animal hobby. These guys are very happy in these little tanks. They breed like rabbits. A lot of them are endangered in the wild, so as many as we can produce in captivity, it really is good for the hobby and the species overall.
Okay. And then
I got into reef keeping 20-something years ago, and then that was my main love until I found this, and I had to kind of make room for two.
Yeah.
And I still love reef keeping, but this is kind of my...
Okay, and then real quick, what's up with the licensing? Because we got Those keyboard warriors everywhere, man. That's inhumane and da 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 da.
Yeah, so all of these guys there's no wild imports here. So it's not like fish where they collect stuff from the wild. There's only one, Nicaragua exports one species like semi-legally, and we don't mess with any of those. So everything that you see here is bred in captivity in the U.S.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, it's really a collective of a lot of like nerdy dudes in the hobby that like really go crazy for this, and we trade with each other, and we try to help each other, you know, complete our pairs and just trying to build a hobby. That's kind of what we're doing here too. I wanted to have a place because, like I said, I do it out of my house. It's nice to have a place that people can come check it out and learn about it.
Yeah.
We might start doing some classes soon, teaching people how to set the tanks up and build them out and that kind of stuff.
I mean, conservation, that's what we all in it for, man.
Yeah, man, exactly. That's why we really focus on trying to do is more aquaculture and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Now you've kind of made your way back into the front of the store. This is the freshwater side of the store.
Right.
Pretty basic, don't need to spend too much time on the freshwater. We carry all the stuff that you guys would be looking for.
A lot of community fish. Man, I know we gotta...
The freshwater myself. Sean's our resident freshwater expert, so if you guys ever come in, he's going to be your guy to talk to about freshwater.
Okay.
But we try to carry a little bit of everything. We have all the little ornamental shrimp and stuff over there.
Community.
We got big fish, kind of do koi here in the middle.
What dimensions is this tank, man? This is an amazing
I don't know the
tank.
actual dimensions, but I think it's about 1,000 gallons.
1,000 gallons?
Maybe 950, something like that.
Yeah, man, this is everybody's dream tank right here.
And then the way we have this set up is kind of aggressive, going to less aggressive towards the actual community fish, which all that stuff there you can pretty much mix, but you're going to have all your tiger Oscars and all the mean stuff over here.
Yeah, I love Oscars. I mean, that was my first fish getting in the game, man. 40-gallon breeder with a couple Oscars, and you go albino, and you're the man.
Right? Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Dry goods as well. We carry all the major brands. We do price match with PRS, so we're competitive. We try to carry everything, whether it's freshwater, saltwater, lights, skimmers, test kits, everything. So we're kind of trying to make it into a one-stop shop. Whether you're freshwater or saltwater, you should be able to come here and get everything you need, from the tank to the livestock to any help that you guys might need with your tanks as well.
Yeah, man, you guys got everything over here. As soon as I looked it up, Reef Lounge, and I came the first time I came to the shop, you guys had the old leather couch, the sectional. I was like, oh yeah, this is a
People
spot.
remember that from our old shop.
The OGs
That's why we call it
know.
the Reef Lounge. You know, we always kind of want to have a place for people to come and hang out,
Yeah.
talk to people that are into the same stuff. You
Yep.
know? So we got a lot more room here now, but we brought the couches with us, so you guys are still always welcome to come hang out.
All right, Shane, I appreciate the tour,
Appreciate you guys stopping by, man.
Hope you'll check it out on YouTube, and you guys seen it here first. Drop on by if you're in the area. Amazing spot to come and get your fish on. If you saw something you like or like something you saw, go ahead and hit that like button. That way I know what y'all like to like and what y'all don't like to like. If you like to like stuff like this, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that comment button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And go ahead and hit them notifications. That way you don't never miss another video that you might like to like. And I like to see what y'all like to like. So go ahead and hit that like.